welcome to WTF with Wendy, where I go live every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Monday, Tuesday. Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, thank you for being here with me today. And a special thanks to my replay warriors who are catching me later, because I'm business coach Wendy Lawson. And today I want to talk about, you guys, this is like one of the scariest questions that we get asked. I don't know why it's so hard to answer this question. So what do you do? Right? You're at a networking event, you're at a social event, you're meeting new people, and it comes around to time to introduce yourself. It's like when you're on a game show. Y'all ever watched a game show when all of a sudden the contestant can't solve the simplest answer? It's like their mind just went blank. That happens to us sometimes when we're introducing ourselves to new people. And so I wanted to talk about that today because I had a couple conversations of late. And I was like, oh, this is the missing link. This is the piece. This is where we get all locked up and confused. And here's an easy solution to that. So let's talk about how do we get over the block of, so what do you do? Okay. So I want to talk about, first of all, you guys, why is this? This is a scary question. I mean, it's kind of a scary question for a lot of people. Someone says what do you do? And we're like, I don't really want to say this. I feel like, who am I to say? I'll tell you personally, when I started my first business, I had a hard time introducing myself as a business owner. I felt like a fraud to say that I owned a business. But guess what? I own a business. So if you're in direct sales, if you own a McDonald's franchise, you still own a business. But there's this fear of well, that sounds like I'm bigger than I really am. Own it, sister. You own a business. If you are making money working for yourself, surprise, you own a business. So there's a big part of that that's tied to mindset, right? We feel like an imposter, or we're insecure. We feel like we're going to be judged. You got to get over that. But I want to give you a new way to think about what you do so that you can answer that question easier. Now, let me tell you, first of all, you've probably heard of creating an elevator pitch, right? That's kind of like marketing, networking 101. You have to be able to have your, 60 to 90 second pitch about who you are. And so a lot of times we'll build this great elevator pitch, which is fantastic. You should have that. You should practice it and be able to do it at the drop of a hat without it sounding completely rehearsed, like you're a robot. Hello, my name is Wendy Lawson. I am a business coach, right? You don't want to do that. But a lot of times in those high pressure moments, we're like, ooh, we forget what it is. I'm going to give you sort of the elements of an elevator pitch, write them down, but then I'm going to ask you 2 questions. We're going to shift our perspective that's going to help you answer and create your elevator pitch in a way that doesn't feel fraudulent, that doesn't feel impostery. So when you think about a traditional elevator pitch, there's really 6 elements to it. First is, who are you? 1 sentence about who you are. Pretty simple stuff. Who are you? I'm business coach Wendy Lawson. 1 sentence about what you do. So what is it that you do? What are the things that you do every single day in your business? Brief little overview of who your ideal client is. I serve female micro business owners. How you serve her. What makes you all that? What makes you special? What makes you different? What separates you from everybody else? How can someone connect with you? What happens next? And then the 6th element is, it goes at the beginning, but it's that attention grabbing hook. You know how you never have the right outfit when you have to go to a special occasion? You know how much of a hassle it is to put on makeup? You know how female business owners who are working out of their home struggle with time management and strategy? You know how, right? So that's your attention getting hook, and that goes to the beginning. So if you were to put together a traditional elevator pitch, it would be like, you know how, blah, 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 blah. Well, what I do is blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, that's all fine and well, but this is where we freeze up. And you guys, I had these sort of 2 interactions, and it gave me a whole different perspective on how to approach this. So when you shift your perspective, it can make this so much easier and help you clarify what it is that you actually do. The first question is, imagine you're trying to explain what you do to a 5-year-old. My nephew is 5, and he's like, Wendy, Aunt Wendy, what is your job? What do you do? You sit home and talk at your computer. What do you do? How do you make money doing that? And so when you think about if I were to explain my job, what Aunt Wendy does to my 5-year-old nephew, it would be like, how when you get a new set of Legos, you just dump them all on the floor because you want to play with them right away. Then you have to put the pieces together, and sometimes you don't put the pieces together in the right places. Well, that's what Aunt Wendy does. I help other people, I help business owners put the pieces together so they can make their Lego creation faster. That's how I would explain it to a 5-year-old. I would use something that he can understand, but I also break it down to the most simplest of, the most common denominator, like the most simple way to explain what I do. I help people who are trying to build something, build it faster, build it easier by giving them the tools and sort of the strategy and looking back. So when you think about explaining your job to a 5-year-old, you're not going to use like, I empower women to, you're not going to add the fluff. You're going to break it down to what you're really doing on a daily basis. So think about how you would explain your job to my 5-year-old nephew. So that's first of all. So now that gives you a really basic, this is what I do, right? It doesn't really tell who you help or why someone pay you for it. That's where you got to think about your mom. My mom asked me, okay, so people pay you for that? Who do you work with? And really, what do people pay you for? That's some mom stuff right there, right? Wait, people give you money for that? You're just my kid. Who are you giving advice to? Or is that just my mom? I'm just kidding. My mom's really supportive. But imagine explaining it to your mom. And that's where you add the element of who do you serve? And why is someone paying you for that? So when you think about getting yourself out of this, I have to put on a button-down shirt, which y'all, you notice I have a button-down shirt today. I look got a collar and everything. I feel like I'm going back to corporate America today. When you can break it down to the most simplest of elements of explaining it to your 5-year-old, but then you sort of elevate it just a little bit and imagine you're explaining it to your mom, where you're incorporating like who is paying you and why they would pay you. Now, instead of it being a robotic elevator pitch, you're stuck in an elevator with me and I'm going to give you my fastest and most amazing and most polished pitch of why I'm awesome. Instead, it becomes much more conversational. And it's really like, yeah, this is what I do. This is who I serve. And this is why people pay me, because I get them results. Okay. So I want you to think about it just a little bit differently. Like, don't put all that pressure on yourself. You've got to have the 6 elements, got to have the elevator, but you just got to be able to explain it to somebody, because you guys know somebody's going to come up to you and be like, so what do you do? What do you do? All right, guys. So that is your quick and dirty marketing inspiration from my mother and my nephew. Hey, guys, I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. I love you madly, and I'll see you later.